Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining today. Before I get really going, can everybody hear me okay? Just if you could chat in the chat box and just let us know. Yes? Okay. All right, great. So I hope that you are all here to learn about the upgraded access request tool in InfoPort. It's exciting things going on this week. So we'll go ahead and jump right in. Maybe. Okay, there we go. So just to tell you about our team today, I'm Jackie Treschel. I'm on the Connect Carolina Change Management team. And in the room, I'll be presenting today. And in the room with me to answer the hard questions are Sally Lacomiak and Keith Jones from the Enterprise Reporting and Departmental Systems team. So they're more commonly known, I think, as the InfoPort gurus. That works. And then Rebecca Jones is with us moderating the webinar and helping with anything technical difficulty wise, which we hope we won't have. So the format for today is we have a short presentation and then we'll do question and answer. All told, I think we probably only have about 10 or 15 minutes of content, if that. And I'm going to jump in and do a demo of the new tool and then let you ask your questions. If anytime you have a question, just use the chat window. If it's worth stopping, like because it's relevant to what I'm doing right then, Rebecca will let me know and we'll ask it then. If it's sort of a general question, we'll save those to the end and then answer them at the end. And the recording will be posted on CC Info, and normally we do it on CC Info or in an article or something like that, but because there's a specific access request coordinator page on CC Info, we're going to go ahead and post it there. So when you go to CC Info, you go to Get Access and then Information for Access Request Coordinators. You'll click there to find it. All right, so today's topic. We think it deserves fireworks. It is the upgraded access request tool. So if you have ever submitted an access request for more than one type of access in the system, this is going to be huge for you. And you know, I don't know that you're going to be setting off fireworks in your office. I recommend you not actually more. But this is big doings, and this is a great upgrade that's happening.
Yes, it is.
Let's talk about the benefits of the upgrade. The first benefit, and this is the biggest one, it's why it's number one, is that you'll be able to enter one request per person when requesting access. So if you have somebody and they need finance Connect Carolina access and finance web travel access and finance P-card access, and oh, they need to be an HR basic originator, and hey, how about some student admin student records access? One access request. Gone are the days of 5, 7, 8 requests for one person. So I'm going to pretend like I can hear everybody cheering so that we can move on to the next one. The second one is that the request will have a main request and sub requests that follow it. So each sub request has its own approval path, and the main request stays open as a placeholder basically until all of the sub requests are completed, and then it closes automatically. So you don't have to go back in there and do anything. When all of those sub requests are finished, it will close itself, or the system closes it. It doesn't close itself. And then the third benefit is that the signatures that you need for access and the approval paths are staying the same. So nothing is changing after the request has been submitted. It all is working the same way it does today, and we'll look at some requests that once they're submitted with the new tool or the upgraded tool, it's really just, it's an upgraded tool. New makes it sound like something that you have to learn again, but it's really not. But you know, everything is staying the same after the request has been submitted. And you know, looking up your access requests, all of that is staying the same. So all of that being said, let's go ahead and jump in. Give me just a second to get back into the system. And everybody seeing that? Okay. So before I even start with that, I'm going to preface this with a couple of things. Number one, I am in the support system. So anything that I do here is not actually happening in InfoPort. And number two, if you've been in InfoPort at all, you're probably looking at it and you're like, it looks a little bit different, but I can't quite put my finger on why. It is getting a bit of a facelift tonight, actually. There is a system outage for InfoPort tonight from 5:30 to 8:30. And it's getting a bit of a facelift. Some of the reports are getting a consistent look across them, and the overall InfoPort, the buttons and the color are changing. So this will be what you see tomorrow morning when you log into InfoPort. All of that being said, the request tool, the upgraded request tool, will not be available until Friday morning. So Friday, August 16th is when you'll see the tool available to use, and it's just going to be a swap out. So you just will no longer see the one that you have today, and the new one will be in its place. So without further ado, everybody here knows you go Tools, Access Request, and then Request Tool. Nope, because this is in the support system, so I do have to do it in the Request Tool new, but you will go to Request Tool starting on Friday morning. And right from the start, what you see is the request type, access for, the name, all of that on the top looks the same as it did before. All of the information that was required before is still required. So I'm just going to go ahead and enter those fields. So we're going to grant access today. And Rebecca Jones has offered to be our guinea pig. And by offered, I mean agreed. And I am going to enter her PID because there are a lot of Rebecca Jones in here. Why is this not pulling up? 720. There we go. Okay. So anybody that's had me for training knows I'd like to make my joke that InfoPort likes to think for you. It doesn't like you to think on your own. Just let it do it. So we're going to say, so for the name of this, we're just going to name that demo Rebecca Jones. And then, of course, as everybody knows, the effective date doesn't drive anything in the system, but it is a required field that you put in there. Request description, testing the new tool. If I wanted to receive status emails every time it changed statuses, I could check that box. As anybody who, you know, if you submit a lot of access requests, you're going to get a lot of emails if you check that box. And then data level access, we don't need any special data level access for this one. So then down into the new part, the upgraded part, instead of having to go through each functional area and then application access and then choose the route and finally drill down to the roles, they're all right here in this center section. And you have it broken down by the 4 functional areas. So access request tool, that's where you request access for somebody else to be an ARC or an ARC designator. We don't use that one all that often, so we're just not going to discuss that. And our testing, Rebecca doesn't get to be, she doesn't get to be an ARC today. So we're just going to, she needs finance access though. So you open the drop down and then it shows you the applications that are available. So you can pick one of those. In this case, she's a finance campus user. And when you expand that, then you see the roles that are available. So for our test case, she needs vendor catalog, which is ePro. She needs campus vouchers. She needs to be able to create and change vendors. That's it in Connect Carolina. And then she also needs web travel. So I'm going to scroll down here to web travel campus user. And same thing, I'm just going to open that drop down. And I'm going to check the box for web travel user. And her role also requires that she submit HR actions. So she's going to be what's called a basic originator. So I have that form that says that she needs to be a basic originator, and it has all its approvals, all its signatures. So not Castle Branch, sorry about that. Connect Carolina HR Payroll Campus user. And then when I scroll down, I see basic originator. I'm going to check that box. And you see when I left finance, it says that there are 4 roles selected there. And now on HR payroll, I have 1 role. When I click out of there and open another one, well, this one, it just has the basic originator. So that it just shows what that role is that you've selected there. And then also she needs to do work in G-SHIP. So on the student admin side, we're going to open Connect Carolina G-SHIP. We're going to say she's a campus user, and then we're going to click off there. So now I've selected all the roles based on the forms. Just like you do today, you're going to attach those documents, and you can attach them in one single attachment. You can attach them all independently. It's up to you however you want to do that. So we're going to say Jones Finance, HR, and Student Admin. Student Admin. I'm going to choose a file. And then you have options down here at the bottom. Stay on request means once I save or submit it, it's going to stay there. If I want to save it because I'm not ready to submit it, say I'm missing the student admin form, I can save it. It'll send it to my inbox. But if I want to just go ahead and submit it, I can submit it. And after it thinks, up in the top left, it shows that my request was successfully submitted. And that sends those requests into the approval path, into their each individual approval path. So now if I go back to reporting, and I know some people use the inbox, so I'll go work in the inbox in just a second, but you can see right at the top of the reporting tab, because that was the last request entered, you see that there's demo R Jones main. That's the one that I just submitted. So again, that's the placeholder. That one will just stay in its originated status until all of the requests are closed, and then it will be completed. And then you see there's still individual requests. These are the sub requests for each of that roles that we just asked for. So there's a campus finance user, web travel campus user, HR payroll campus user, and G-SHIP. Just like today, if you want to see the status and where the request is, you can click on the status and scroll down, and it'll show you the approval path and where it's at. And again, if you wanted to go straight to the inbox, we should see, I actually cleared this before. Let me see originated. And so there are the ones that I just originated for Rebecca. Excuse me. And then you can click from these to go look at the requests and see where they are. I'm going to go back to tools here and access request and the reporting, and you can see all of those. So let's look at one that has posted. You see down here where I am, this request 233389. You see that the sub request is posted and the main request is listed as complete. So that's really, in a nutshell, all there is to the new tool. The upgraded tool, again, it's not new. I think this is something that will definitely make your life easier going forward if you have multiple requests for a single person. A couple of quick caveats about that. You can only do granting access in a request. So if you have somebody that you need to revoke access, it has to be separate from granting. So if you're revoking multiple pieces of access, that works as a main request. You can do it that way. But if you need to remove a role, so let's say Rebecca no longer needed vendors, but we needed to add journals, that still has to be 2 separate requests. So granting and revoking are at the level of which you can have them combined. So you wouldn't be able to do that in one request. But across functional areas, finance, HR, student admin, and all of their associated systems that you use the ARC tool for, you can now request it through one request. And that being said, again, it's Friday morning that this will be available. Nothing else is changing with the timing. You know, what you do in InfoPort today is available tomorrow when it comes to permissions and that sort of thing. So that's it. So like I said, actually, that was actually right at 15 minutes. So do we have any questions?
We do. We have a question that asks, main requests and sub requests. Does it matter which you choose as the main request or sub request?
That's a great question. Actually, the system generates the main request. So the main request is literally like a bucket. It just holds the other requests. There is no approval path tied to the main request. So it's effectively like all of the sub requests are sitting in that bucket to allow you to do it as one. So again, there's no approval paths on there, nothing for you to choose. All of the requests that are in there are considered equal. That being said, if you do an access request for one piece of access, so you would have somebody that just needs, say, ePro, so the vendor catalog, it's one role, one area, you're still going to have a main request and a sub request because we've still got the buckets in there. So even if there's one thing in the bucket, you still need the bucket.
Currently, if a user needs access to enhanced reporting, they have a document. They have to document that under data level access. Does this stay the same, or will enhanced reporting be added to these sub menus?
No, so there isn't a role for enhanced reporting access. So same way you request it now using that data level access field is the same thing you'll need to do going forward. So nothing when it comes to the forms or what you put in those boxes, you know, if it's been working for you now, keep doing it going forward.
Okay, not another question, but just a comment from the webinar audience. This is terrific. Thanks for listening to our wishes.
That's awesome.
So there's still some time. If you have any other questions,
yeah, we've got plenty of time.
Type them in the box now.
I'm going to show them that the bundle under the inbox requests.
The bundle under the inbox.
If you open the parent, in which the main request.
All right. So if I open the main request from the title.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So just go ahead and repeat that demo what you're doing.
So
scroll down.
okay. Yes. Thank you. I forgot about that. So in the inbox, so let me go back to where we started. So this goes back to the bucket idea, right? So if you don't want to scroll through each of the requests on the reporting tab or in your inbox, you can click on the main request. And one other thing I should have noted was that the main request automatically gets assigned main at the end of the title. So that's an easy way to find it.
So you have a column for it too.
Oh, in the inbox.
Yes.
Okay. Again, I'm somebody that rarely uses the inbox. I always go to the reporting tool. So, okay. So there, it has a column to associate it there. Thanks for that, Keith. So if you click on that main request, when it's in your inbox, and you scroll down, it'll show you the sub requests that are associated with that. And when you click that request number, then you can get more information about that request and where it is on the approval path and what needs to happen.
Yes. Also, if you go to the main request, you have check boxes beside the sub request, and you can select all or individually. So if you want to retract several in one fell swoop, there you can select them and then click retract. There's some you want to delete, you can do it that way with one click. Also, once you've retracted them and you decide that they're ready to go again, at that point you'd have the submit button, so you could select any that you want to resubmit in one action that way.
Fantastic. That's a great feature.
Has the content of the forms changed?
No, the forms are staying the same. None of what's happening with the ARC tool affects the forms. There was an update to the HR forms 3 or 4 weeks ago now. But anytime we make updates to the forms, we'll send you an email message with the information about what's changed and linking you back to CC Info to go get those new forms. But no, nothing on the forms is changing. We had some conversation about whether it made sense to combine the forms since the tool was combined. The feedback that we got from folks that do a lot of access requests were that it's better to leave them separate because most often people don't need all the pieces of access. And so it's easier for the folks getting the access and managers if they are just working with the individual form for the functional area that they have.
We have someone in the audience who was in the test group and they still have several main requests sitting in their inbox when the subs are complete.
Yeah, that was from phase 1 to phase 2. That was something that we fixed. That was a previous bug. So now that shouldn't happen. You should actually be able to go into the main request and complete it manually. If it doesn't give you that option, let us know and we'll be happy to complete any of them that need to be.
So there was a concern that the roles on this tool don't really align with the forms, especially for students.
Yes, that is something that we are currently working on. There are more roles than are on the student form currently, and it is something that that's the best I have. It is in process to get those streamlined and to get those matched. The finance and the HR forms should be fairly well matched. There are a couple of places I think that it got out of sync for reasons not related to the new tool. So we're working to correct those, and then we do have it on our list for the student forms to get those roles squared away and make it so that they match.
Okay. Is there a way to pull a report showing all individuals with their different roles/permissions? This would be more important for staff who may transfer between departments and keep their old access.
Yes, so that already exists in InfoPort today. However, it is only for PeopleSoft access. So if you are using it for web travel or P-card, that doesn't show up on this report. But if you go to Tools and Access Request and the PeopleSoft Roles tab, and you type in the person's PID or their name, we're just going to use me as an example, and search, it will show you all of the access that that person has. One thing to note here, though, is that these are the sort of the behind the scenes role names. So they may not match exactly what's on the form, but if you have somebody that's leaving a department and going to another department, or they're leaving the university and you want to capture what their roles are, it's great to go ahead and just take a screenshot of this or download it to Excel. In InfoPort, you can download all of these reports to Excel and sort them as you need to. This is only active so long as the person has that access in the system. So once they've left the university and their onion's been terminated or they don't have access anymore, you can't get this from this tab. So just keep that piece in mind.
This is great. Thank you. This is a time saver. Great job. Thank you all so much for your hard work. As a test group member, that process processes a high volume of requests. I can't tell you how helpful this change has been. We got a lot of thumbs up in the room right now.
Yes.
Any other questions? We have a couple minutes left. Any other things to share in here?
Nope, just a reminder that 5:30 to 8:30 tonight, InfoPort is down, and the upgraded ARC tool will be available Friday morning, August 16th. So please, please, please don't call tomorrow morning and say I was on the webinar and I want the new tool. It's coming. Promise it's coming, but it's coming on Friday morning. But until then, you can use the current tool to submit access requests. You don't have to wait until Friday to submit access requests. So please, please, please don't tell people that there's a new tool coming and you can't do it till Friday. Or if you do tell them that, I'm okay with that. Just please don't tell them Jackie said so.
That's it.
No other questions?
Nope.
All right. So as always, thanks for listening. We will put this on CC Info on the Access Request Coordinators page, which you can find under Get Access. And if you have any other questions, don't hesitate to reach out. You can email me directly, or you can always email cc_communications@unc.edu. And if we don't know the answer, we will get the answer for you. Thanks, everyone.
Bye.